Welcome to a new Team CGC 9.8 video. A really special video today. I got my newest additions to the collection here. Two new CGC 9.8s. These are, really classic Uncanny X-Men issues that I've been hunting for a really long time. So feels really good to get them both in newsstands too, as the title says. So really excited to grab these books. I got all my other sort of Uncanny X-Men and X-Men CGC 9.8 books out to show you kind of after too. But for X-Men books right now, I actually think it's a pretty great time to buy them. There's no movies right now, no promotion. I know we talk about that a lot. So, the times you want to buy are when there's none of that because, eventually there will probably be something. And, we've been hearing a lot of the announcements and the X-Men rights are coming back to MCU Disney. Or they have come back along with Deadpool, and there was, I think last week, some like Hulk rights came back to, so standalone Hulk now could possibly be movies, whereas, I guess he had to be in Avengers before for them to have the rights there. So, let's not waste any more time though. Classic X-Men issues. I'll show you like the best one first, I guess. But they're both pretty awesome. Okay, yeah, I guess I'll just leave the box up here for now. Newest edition, number 1 is Uncanny X-Men 141, or X-Men 141 as it's kind of on the title here. In the newsstand version, so you got kind of the first appearance of like Rachel, who's like Phoenix 2, but then sort of all the, the alternate future X-Men, so Pyro, Avalanche, Destiny. Yeah, so and all the alternate future X-Men. But yeah, part 1 of Days of Future Past. So a book that I've really wanted for a long time. I've been trying to track it down with good shipping to Canada and at a decent price for quite a long time. Such a classic cover. Yeah, this is a really nice copy too. I always talk about kind of centering along the spine and pages sticking out the side. This book got a little pages kind of sticking out the side here, but really nice spine centering. And we're talking super minor details here. Look on the CGC census though, there's 596 of these in the CGC 9.8 blue label. So a 1 of 596. And, you kind of see a lot of these from time to time, but at times too, when I've wanted this issue, there was like none on the internet for, 3-4 months. It was a weird period, but, lately I've kind of seen a lot more of them for some reason. And I really love this. This is just such a classic issue. Really quick, we'll go on the CGC 9.8 ratio. It's 14.7%. And, this is nearing the end of the John Byrne sort of X-Men run and Days of Future Past Part 1. I know they already made kind of a Days of Future Past video, or movie, sorry. And, that's not something you're really bidding on when you're getting this issue. This is just a classic book, a 1 of 596. And 1981, this came out too, just January 81. So pretty old book too. And I have the t-shirt of this book, if you guys noticed on a couple of videos. This is a book I've loved since I was a kid. And, we'll get into, I probably should have brought it out now, but we'll get into Uncanny X-Men 142, which I have in the CGC 9.8, and I've had that for about maybe 6 months, maybe even longer than that now, so really always wanted to add X-Men 141, which is like a classic book, such a classic book. Okay, book number 2, newest edition of the collection, sticking with Uncanny X-Men. I love villains, so this fits right in. Yeah, Uncanny X-Men 221, really so happy to grab this book, finally I would say. In the newsstand version, nonetheless, and this is an 87 book, 1987, so the newsstand versions are quite elusive, I would say, during this era, so you know what, when I saw a newsstand version of this, and the book that I really always wanted for a really long time, X-Men 141, from the same seller, so I was able to get them shipped to Canada for kind of one cheaper price, I guess. So that was a bit of a positive too. I just thought I would jump on it with this book too, because again, coming from the same seller. And they did come from the United States, but yeah, good shipping and everything. Kind of lucked out on all that. This is first Mr. Sinister. There's 937 of these CGC 9.8s in the blue label on the census. 937. That's getting up there, I think. But this is a well-graded book, and it really heated up. I would say, last year. We'll get into prices too. I don't think I talked about prices on 141, but quickly, the CGC 9.8 ratio for this book is 37%. So 37% of them are CGC 9.8s of all graded copies. That's getting up there, and I think that's why this book is certainly a little bit more cheaper than this book. And and I guess, talking about price, in general, for a direct version of this book, they have come down in price from over 200 last year to now, 165 I heard them selling for. So yeah, I call it kind of 150 to 175 now this book is in the direct version. I picked up this one in a newsstand for $251. And newsstands of this era are pretty elusive. I'm sure you can get a better deal on this now. But my thought was, I could easily add it on for this book for basically free shipping was, one of the positives. Second thing, I've always wanted this book anyway. And the third, 6 months to a year ago, the direct version was selling for kind of $220, $230. And I really, really wanted it back then, and for some reason I just didn't pull the trigger. So to see the direct versions being over $200 for quite a while, I think, picking up the newsstand version for kind of, that past price for right around there, a little bit more, obviously, a couple bucks more, but again, I think these late 80s books are pretty elusive in the newsstand. I know Amazing Spider-Man 316, which is a comparable book from this era, kind of the cool Venom cover. That book in the newsstand goes for a lot more than I think. The two went in an auction in the last couple months here. I think one was over $600, and then one was in the $500 US for Amazing Spider-Man 316 newsstand version. So I think just for these 80s books, late 80s especially, because earlier 80s, the price difference isn't as much, because I think in the early 80s there were more newsstand prints, whereas late 80s there must be less newsstand prints, or just less. They must just be quite a lot more elusive, I would say. But so I purchased this one for $251. Uncanny X-Men 141, kind of a funny fluke that I kind of missed out on, that I probably could have saved $10 on. Ended up grabbing it for $400. I had messaged the seller and I was like, hey, I'm thinking of getting this, this book too, so would you consider $390? And he didn't message me back. And then then I was just like, oh, you know what, whatever, what's $10? I'm going to go ahead and purchase it. So I did. And literally as I purchased it, a message popped up and he was like, yeah, I'll do $390. And so I ended up buying it for $400 though. So could have saved $10, but didn't. All right. Really happy to have these in the fresh newsstand editions. So and again, these late 80s books seem quite elusive, with certainly the price differences in the 9.8s are big. So I just decided to jump on it and not really think about, am I saving $10 or $20, which sometimes I usually do. Really quick, I am going to show you guys. I'm going to grab out all my Uncanny X-Men books now, just to kind of bring them out. It'd be pretty cool. 142. So I finally got them together. 141. I saw 141 in a direct version, quite many times, where I turned it down and it was $350, $340, $360. And I was turning them down because I wanted to wait for the newsstand to match this one. So I would have kind of both of them in the newsstand. So literally that probably cost me $50 more, because if I bought the direct version of this book is $350, $340, I think even less if you get lucky, if someone who kind of newly graded it wants to sell it right away. Whereas the newsstand version is kind of creeping up to $4, but not quite if you find it in an auction. But I just think, again, is it worth $10 or $20 to wait again, when pretty much I was making up the money on shipping anyway, because if I bought these books separate, they would both be about $20 US shipping each time. that's about the cheapest you can get in Canada. So great to have them together, though. They look great. Yeah. I'll put it over here. This one. So yeah, really sweet. I like to have kind of pairs of books. So now, next book here, Uncanny X-Men book, is one of my #1 recommendations. I think as a investment book is Uncanny X-Men 121, the first full appearance of Alpha Flight, and yeah, there's a John Byrne cameo in this book too, which is kind of cool. Now, this book is looking on the census. There's only 290 of them in the CGC 9.8. Not very much. The ratio, the CGC 9.8 ratio is 12.7%. And this is probably my one pick from the sort of John Byrne era that's a somewhat affordable CGC 9.8 book, but a very investment grade book. And when I say somewhat affordable, I purchased mine for $550. So, you know, it's still an expensive book, but they came out in 1979, so you know, you're in the 70s on this one. It's got a first full appearance of Alpha Flight, a really awesome white cover that, you know, there's only 290 out there in the blue label 9.8s. Many of them too, like I got the white pages here. This is a great copy. I'm so lucked out. This one in the white pages. Many of them are off white to white too in the CGC 9.8. So 290 9.8s, but in this one here in the white pages, there's probably closer to like 150 of them. So I completely recommend this book as like a serious investment grade book, and it would probably almost be my pick as like, yeah, the one X-Men book that's still affordable, but somewhat affordable, but is a legit investment grade book. And again, only 290 of them out there, so I think $550 was a good deal on that. I think I got a good deal. I think you're looking closer in an auction for this book, like $600 to $650. But that, they don't come very often. And then buy it nows are all $7.99 or over, the cheapest ones. Like you might see a $749.99 buy it now pop up, but yeah, about $800 for that if you kind of want it right away. Okay, yeah, one more X-Men book that I got. Yeah, I didn't even look up the CGC information on this one, but it's my oldest one. Uncanny X-Men, or X-Men 112. Yeah, they didn't start putting Uncanny until 114, I believe it was. Which is a really cool issue, actually. The first Uncanny X-Men, where it says Uncanny. That's actually one that I would like. There's not a lot of those in the CGC 9.8, too. I was looking at that one. But nonetheless, at 112, I'm a big villains fan. So yeah, I got Mr. Sinister first appearance, which is great. And I really like this Magneto cover. And yeah, it's a George Perez cover. Yeah, I'm a fan of George Perez. So yeah, this is my... Oh no, you know what? I forgot the one here. The newest one, other than these two that I just did a video on, is my last kind of X-Men book I got in like a 9.8 graded comic. Yeah, X-Men 53, first full appearance of Onslaught. You can check that video out if you hadn't already. Alright, that is going to be it. And you know what, I'll end this video with kind of my general recommendation right now is, you know, Disney's getting these X-Men rights back. So I think right now is a good time to like grab all these books. Yeah, 142 and, you know, 129 is Uncanny X-Men 129 would be my other serious, if you were kind of really serious about buying a CGC 9.8 investment grade book. That one I've seen go for like $1,300 in the CGC 9.8 white pages. So, yeah, you know, maybe a little bit less price than that is the first full appearance of Alpha Flight. Maybe you're looking about $700 for that one in the CGC 9.8. 142, yeah, it was $280 I paid for it. So Days of Future Past Part 2 was $280. This one was $400 in the newsstand, as I said. And $251 for this one here. And first, Mr. Sinister in the rare newsstand, I think. You know, probably not the cheapest price you could get for that book right now, I would say, in an auction or something. But I think over time that should look pretty good in the newsstand. Yeah, and a sweet book to have. It's really nicely centered, too. I don't think I mentioned on it, but these are, yeah, the Mr. Sinister book, too, is, yeah, very nicely centered along the spine. For, like, a newsstand, too, sometimes you don't get that with the newsstand, so that was a bit of another factor why I kind of 251. I just jumped on it and got them shipped by the same same seller too, which was a big plus. But yeah, buy X-Men books right now. If you love X-Men, buy them now before the Disney trailer, confirmations of a new X-Men type movie come out, and I'm sure all these books will heat up. Certainly, closer the movie comes out and when the trailers come out and all that. So buy them now before that happens. That'll be it for this video, though. I invite you guys to join the team and subscribe to Team CGC 9.8 and hit the bell for all our latest notifications. And add me on Instagram if you'd like to. All the links are in the description below for all that. But yeah, I'm so glad I could share my newest additions to the collection. Yeah, it's going to be nice to kind of store all these away. And I'll be having a look at these in the next few days, I think, just bringing them out the box. Especially 141 is, again, having that shirt. And all the CGC 9.8s I already have, and I have that shirt. And I still haven't got that issue in the 9.8 until now, so yeah, really happy to have this. Alright guys, well, yeah, thanks so much for watching today. I'll see you on the next video.